G'day, Starlo here. Those of you who watch my videos will know that I get a little bit excited when I get my hands on some new gear. And today I'm really excited because I've just taken delivery of some of these. Some very special jig heads. Yeah, look, I know what you're saying. Jig heads, how excited can you get about them? Well, if you do as much soft plastic fishing as I do, you can get pretty excited about jig heads. I'll admit that I've struggled to find jig heads that I really like ever since the demise of the old squidgy jig heads quite a few years ago. Luckily, I kept a bit of a stash of those, but I'm rapidly running out of them. So when a bloke by the name of Boardman contacted me some time ago and told me about a jig head program that he was working on, I jumped on board with him. And to cut a long story short, I've been working away in the background with Lee to help develop these jig heads, and they're finally here. They're called Ark Genesis, and there's currently two styles. A very slick Tournament Pro series that could probably be best described as a cross between football and data style heads, with the rather nice attribute of standing up on the bottom. How good's that? But I guess the ones I'm even more excited about are the Ark Genesis Atlas Stone series. And if these look a bit familiar, they should, because they're extremely similar to the original squidgy roundhead jigs. Just like those original squidgy roundheads, they've got fine gauge hooks and a single wire keeper prong, which I absolutely love. They're unpainted and simple, but they're a little bit slicker than the original squidgies. For a start, they're shinier, but also they've got these flatted sides. Now, Lee insists that makes them track better through the air when you're casting, and also track better through the water when you're retrieving them. The other thing I like about those flatted sides is that they make the perfect mounting point for eyes, either little stick-on ones or paint-on eyes. But whatever the case, they're a great looking jig. But as great as the designs of these jig heads are, the material that they're made from is even more important, because they're completely lead free. That's right, no lead at all. They're made from a very cool alloy that Lee's chosen to call Ecoryllium. Sounds like something out of Avatar, I know. It's a tungsten-based alloy that's actually considerably heavier than lead. That means that they're smaller for a given weight, so they cast better and they sink faster. Just as important to me is the fact that we know that lead is not good for the environment and not good for our own health. It's being phased out in lots of uses, particularly in the sporting shooting world, but there's also places in the world where you can't use lead sinkers or shot, and I think that's going to spread more widely as the years go by. So Lee's gotten ahead of the game and he's come out with these highly efficient lead-free jig heads. The other thing that I really like about this Ecoryllium is that it's extremely hard. It doesn't get dinged and scratched and dented like lead. It doesn't develop those tooth craters when you've had a big session on the brim or the snapper. Now, I know that a lot of us used to regard those deeply moon-cratered jig heads as a bit of a badge of honour that we'd had a great session, but to be honest with you, it's not doing you any favours when the fish's teeth can dig into the jig head, because what tends to happen is they clamp down on it, their teeth lock on the head, they give it a couple of shakes and spit it out. But if it's hard and shiny like that, it slides through their teeth and the point finds its mark. Interestingly, this is something that blue water anglers realised years ago. Wooden and plastic plugs, when they get bitten by things like wahoo and Spanish mackerel, the fish can clamp down on them, hold them, shake their heads, spit them out, and never get hooked. But hard, shiny metal jigs slide through the fish's mouth until the hook finds its mark. Much better. Anyway, to say that I'm impressed with these jig heads would be a bit of an understatement. But there's only so long that I can sit here and talk to you about them. We need to get out on the water and actually give them a try. Let's go fishing. I'll see you down at the boat ramp. All right, are you ready? We'll go and give these things a bit of a run. I'm not overly optimistic about finding too many fish because it is bitterly cold. It's around 12 degrees at the moment, but with the breeze that's blowing, feels more like 6 or 7. And the water is icy cold too. I think we're going to do it tough, but I had to get out there and have a go. When you get a new product like this, you just got to get on the water and try it. Come on, let's jump in the boat and get going. It's not only cold, the water's also really dirty. We've had a lot of rain just recently. This system is still closed to the sea, but it's almost about to break through. And it's right up high back into the trees, as you can see. This can be a good time to catch things like bream and maybe even flathead. But when it's as cold as it is at the moment, I don't know, I just find that things do tend to shut down a little bit. Anyway, we'll give it our best shot. I'll fire it up, get the kill switch on, and we'll head out there and give those Ark Genesis jig heads a bit of a run. I don't have too far to go, which is probably a good thing because it's even colder on the move. All right, now it probably won't come as any great surprise to you to see that I'm going to try one of the Atlas stone ones first, the round head jigs with the slightly flattened sides that remind me so much of the old squidgy round heads. Now this is rather clever too. Lee's designed this packaging so that you can just peel back the top of the clam pack and access one of the jig heads without all the others falling out. That's actually really clever. I know a lot of us take all our jig heads out and put them in the tackle box, but this is a pretty good way of keeping them, and you can get one out without all the rest dropping out. He's thought of everything. All right, let's have a look at it. I've gone for the 1/8 ounce in the number 1 hook size. I reckon that is going to be just about perfect for the soft plastics that I'm going to kick off with this afternoon. It is wickedly sharp straight out of the packet. It's a fairly light gauge hook. Like the old squidgy round heads, you could certainly straighten that on heavy gear with a lock drag and a big fish, but it's meant for finesse fishing. It's meant for targeting fish on lighter tackle and out in more open country. And I tell you now, you will never get better penetration than you'll get with a light gauge hook like that one. I'll tie it on, rig it up, and we'll get into it. Oh, you'll notice that I've put my life jacket on too. I'm out here on my own, it's cold. I've also got gum boots on if I ended up in the water. A lot of clothes, the boots. I want to be able to pop this and stay afloat. All right, I've gone for one of the old squidgy bio-tough grubs. These aren't made anymore, but I've deliberately chosen that because they're a notoriously difficult plastic to rig. The bio-tough material wants to push back against the keeper and push itself off the hook. So I figured if this one rigs relatively easily, the others will be a breeze. Great lures, the bio-toughs, but gee, they were tricky to rig. And unfortunately, squidgies just don't make them anymore. I think the material's just got to be too expensive. All right, I've pushed it right up over that single keeper barb. I tell you what, that was easier to rig than it was on the old squidgy roundhead. And of course, I'm going to put a little bit of S factor on there because you can't have a pie without sauce. Oh, that looks good. Hey, I've got some pretty exciting news about squidgies too. There's some things happening in the squidgy department that I'm really thrilled about. Unfortunately, I can't tell you about them yet. They're embargoed until the after tackle show this year. I'm making this just a couple of weeks before that show, so I can't tell you about them and I can't show you, but I will show you as soon as I'm allowed to. All right, I've got that grub rigged on a 6-pound leader. I've got 6-pound braid, nice light little outfit, 1000 size reel. Let's see on this cold, chilly, breezy day if we can find a fish or two. I'm not making any promises. I've started out in what looks like the middle of nowhere, but there are some lay-down logs on the bottom here in 3 metres of water that sometimes hold fish. With sometimes being the operative word. Maybe not today. Now, I don't know if you can tell it from the microphones, but I've got about a 7 or 8 knot breeze blowing straight into my face. So it's not ideal for casting a 1/8 ounce jig head, but it's going pretty well. The compact size and aerodynamic nature of these Ark Genesis jigs definitely seems to be helping with casting in the breeze. But the fish aren't cooperating. Oh, the breeze is a bit stronger than 7 or 8 knots now. It's probably gusting up to 12, 13. It's not pleasant at all. And even though it's coming out of the nor'west, it is icy cold. Not like a summertime nor'wester. This one's coming off snow, even though it's a nor'wester. Let's move in on the shoreline and try. A lot of times I'd use a floating diving hardbody in country like this just to stay above the weed and the snags, but I'm pretty keen to give the Ark Genesis jigs a go. But the shallower, snaggy edges aren't producing either. It's deadly quiet. Not so much as a bump. There's a fair bit of drowned vegetation down there. I do like these couple of cormorants sitting in this tree up here though, that's not a bad sign. But the cormorants lied. There were no fish there either. Well, I knew it was going to be tough, but I was hoping it wouldn't be quite this tough. I was really hoping to get a fish on the new jig heads, but so far it's not looking real good. And it only got worse. Well, as you can probably see and hear, the wind has really come away now. It's got to be pushing up towards 18, 20 knots. It's not nice at all. There's white caps all over the lake. I think I'm going to head in. The fish are just not going to play today. Too cold, too dirty, too windy. Fishermen can always find an excuse, but I certainly can't blame those Ark Genesis jig heads. They really look the goods to me. Check them out. Go and have a look at the website. Make sure that you do the .au on the end of the URL that I'll put down below, because it is an Australian website. If you just go .com, you won't get there. And if you decide to buy some, make sure you use my Starlo link when you check out, and you'll get a 10% discount on them. That's not bad. Oh, listen, my son Tom has also got some of these in his online shop, starlotackle.com. So you can get them that way as well, and maybe pick up some resin heads and some fish bites, synthetic bait while you're at it. Oh boy, I'm going to get off the water. My eyes are watering with the cold. It is dreadful. Until next time, this is a wind-blown Starlo wishing you tight lines. Ooh. Hey, check out these other episodes of mine as well. Cheers for now.